Well, with this long hot summer we've had, shade has been at quite a premium, and many of you may be thinking about planting a shade tree in your own yard. Well, this is a great time of year to do some shopping around for shade trees because fall is just a wonderful tree planting time in Oklahoma. So you've got some time here to kind of think about what you want, and you need to do a little bit of planning ahead of time too and check and see what you've got, where you're going to plant your tree. You need to make sure that you plant it far enough away from the house. Some of these at their mature heights and widths can be quite large. So you want to have that tree planted far enough away so it's not going to be growing into your house. You also want to check and make sure that you're not planting it too close to any high lines that might be around, because again, you're going to have to deal with that later. You also want to check your drain fields if you have a septic system or anything like that. So get all of these things checked out and shop for the tree that's just right for that spot. Well, today I've got about 5 really good shade trees that you might think about. And the first one that I want to tell you about here is the Chinese pistache. Now, this is a wonderful tree, and it grows anywhere from 25 to 35 feet tall at its mature height. And this one that we've got here planted by the barn is about 13 years old, and you can see it's already got a very nice kind of umbrella shaped habit to it, and it's providing some good shade. Now, Chinese pistache provides kind of a lighter shade than some of the other trees because it's got this nice compound leaf on it. Now, the leaf color on this is very pretty. It's a nice deep green during the summer, and a bonus, it has a wonderful fall color. It can range, it varies with seedlings, anywhere from, say, a yellowish to a very brilliant orange color. Now, it also can get these fruits on it that you can see here, and these will turn kind of a nice teal blue with some spots on it in the fall, but they don't persist on the tree very long because the birds like them. So this is a nice tree to plant if you need something to feed your birds with. Now, another great thing about a Chinese pistache is it has a deep root system, so you don't have to worry about any surface rooting problems. So you wouldn't have to worry about it maybe cracking your driveway or something like that. So this is a really nice tree. Now again, you want to take into consideration how large these trees can get at maturity, because we have a few out here that have been here for about 30 years, and you can see that the tree can get quite large. So take that into consideration. Now, another really good tree to plant, especially if you have a place that might flood in the spring but then be very dry the rest of the year, is the bald cypress. Now, traditionally we think of a bald cypress as a tree that would grow in a swampy area, but it is actually very tolerant of dry soils, and it has a very nice kind of pyramidal shape to it. The leaves on this, it's actually a conifer, but it is deciduous, so the leaves are a nice, soft, feathery foliage, and in the fall, these will fall off. Now, it has kind of a bronzy color in the fall, and then the bark during the winter is a nice red color. The tree can get from 50 to 70 feet tall and 30 to 40 feet wide, and this is actually a very rapid growing tree. A really good tree to plant if you're looking for something that can help you save energy in your house is the Kentucky coffee tree. Now, this is another open kind of gumdrop type shaped tree, and it can be anywhere from 60 to 80 feet tall and 30 to 50 feet wide. This is a moderate grower, and it has these very nice dark green compound leaves, and you can see that you get quite a bit of shade in the summer. However, all of these leaves fall off, and the branching structure is actually quite open in the winter, so you can shade that heat in the summer, and then you can get that sun in the winter, and this makes a very nice tree for energy conservation. Now, one thing to think about if you're going to plant a Kentucky coffee tree is that they have male and female trees, and the female tree has a pod-like fruit that contains a very hard seed that's actually about like a marble. So if you've got that planted over, say, a deck or some kind of an area where you're going to have problems with that fruit nest, get a male tree and then you won't have to deal with it. Now, the fall color on this, while it's not real showy, is a nice yellow. Now, a lot of people like to plant an oak in the yard. There's nothing like a stately oak to provide shade. However, many of them grow very slowly. But one oak, a sawtooth oak, is really one of the fastest growing oaks available. And it's a very nice tree to provide shade. Now, it can be 40 to 60 feet tall and about 30 to 40 feet wide, and has a nice spreading habit to it. and again is about one of the fastest growing oaks. It has these long, narrow leaves, and you can see as you look at the edge how it gets the Sawtooth Oak name. And finally, a lot of people like to plant pin oaks because they like that pyramidal oak shape and also those nice branches that come out horizontally from the trunk of the tree. However, in Oklahoma, pin oaks have a severe problem with iron chlorosis, and a lot of times they look kind of a sickly yellow. Well, a great tree to plant instead, because you have all of those bonuses, is the Shumard Oak, because it is not susceptible to that iron chlorosis. Now, a Shumard Oak gets anywhere from 40 to 60 feet tall and 40 to 60 feet wide, is a moderate grower, and has a wonderful fall color of a red to purplish red. So these are just a few trees that you might think about if you're thinking about planting a shade tree. And again, check those high wires and the distance from your house and other structures before putting them in.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.